Hi, in this video I will walk you through our new pipe fittings in Revit. They have been completely rebuilt from scratch with a strong focus on structured and reliable data. The purpose is to improve data quality, create a cleaner setup, and make it easier to use in projects. On Google Drive, we have uploaded some documentation documents under the BIM folder. Here under Revit, there is this documentation document. A full documentation document has been created with the structure 1 tab per material for PP, PVC, PE, steel metric, steel ISO, and threaded pipes. Each tab includes the standards applied, links to these standards on the drive, pipe sizes, routing preferences, and family sizes. When clicking on these standards, you come into a PDF file that is located on the drive where all the data is found. For example, here is some data from an elbow where you can see tables that are used. All pipe fittings have been rebuilt from ground up. The data is based on DS, EN, and ISO standards. All data is documented and traceable. The shared parameter file has been simplified with fewer parameters and more precise naming. Especially a new parameter called standard is added, showing which standard the data comes from, and this new shared parameter is filled in for all of our new pipe fittings. For some of the pipe fittings, no data was found in standards. This is written in the documentation file if this is happening. Here we can see the different documentation of the different materials with all of the PDF links. Here's also an example for a PDF link. Where you can see the 2D drawings of the fittings. Here you can see me scroll through the document. Under each materials, there are tables for each category: caps, elbows, tees, tab, crosses, reducers, flanges, and unions. Each table shows the family name, which tables in the standard from the DS, EN, and ISO standards used, where the data comes from, and the supported sizes. The tables also shows coverage across the pressure classes. This ensures that there is a full transparency and control over the data in the pipe fittings. For steel pipes, a lot of flanges are made, as you can see here. These are not all set up in the routing preferences, but can be loaded in separately. For the flanges, another documentation document is created. This gives an overview of which sizes all of the different flanges in metric and ISO comes in, both for massive and pressed colors. There is a new workflow regarding the Revit templates and the project that you're working in. All pipes and pipe fittings have been removed from the templates. This gives a cleaner look when you're opening a project. Instead, you have to copy pipes from a dedicated project. This is done to avoid unnecessary fittings in your model, create a better overview, and ensure correct setup every time. You can see here when I try to draw a pipe, there's only one pipe in the project. This is called Do Not Use. This ensures that you remember that you have to copy the new pipes from the dedicated project. You can find all of our Revit families in Content Catalog. Here you can see all of the pipe fittings that we have created, as well as all of the other families that we had before. To find the dedicated project for pipes, you go into the templates and find this file called mech pipes. as well as you can find all of our templates both for mechanical, electrical and structural projects. These are all located in the content catalog in the folders, but a good workflow is to search for the families or projects that you need. Here I search for elbows, and you can see a lot of different one comes up. If I search for mech pipes, this project comes up. Here you can see the pipe project setup. All of these different pipes have been set up with routing preferences in the project called mech pipes. If I click on one of the pipes and copy it into a new project, now there will be the do not use pipe and this pipe I just copied. This comes with all of the fittings applied for this specific pipe. All routing preferences are pre-configured. That means that the Revit user should not modify them. Thereby you can easily draw with these pipes. If you go into edit type, you can see the standard applied and you can see the routing preferences that is already set up. Both pipe fittings for T's and tabs are configured. To switch between them, you should only change the junction type. No other adjustment is needed. When you change the junction type to T, the routing preferences will ensure that the pipe only draws T's. If you change the junction type to tab, the routing preferences will assure that you only draw tabs. The benefits with this new workflow is that we assure that there is consistent data, traceable back to the standards, fewer errors, and easier project workflow. If I go into one of these families and click Edit Type, I can see this shared parameter called Standard, which refers to the standard used in the data. When I go back to my mech pipe project, I can see that these routing preferences are set up for all of the different pipe systems. Sometimes multiple families are set up in one category, for example here for unions. Then you should select yourself which union that you want to use, as they work in multiple sizes. All of these new fittings have been quality assured. The quality assurance you can see here, where we've drawn all of the different pipe systems with routing preferences in all the sizes that they apply in. This have made to make sure that all the data is consistent and work as expected. On the K drive, you would normally see folders with the different versions, but now you just see a folder called Load Families from Content Catalog. This is to push you guys to use Content Catalog to load your families from, as this will be the correct and newest versions that will be uploaded here. The new shared parameter file is located under Other and Shared Parameters, and our material library is located here on the K drive. They are also both uploaded to Content Catalog. Since there's new folder names in the K drive, you have to go in to the software drive, into Autodesk and the Revit version that you use, and run this bat file. This ensures that you work correctly with the new folder names, as you can get an error right now when you're working at Revit because we changed some of the background folders. So you have to run this bat file. Afterwards, you can go into Revit, into File, Options, File Locations, and check that these are set up correctly. If not, you should change them manually. This should only be done one time, as Revit will save these changes for later, so you don't have to do it again. For the shared parameter file, you should go up here to Manage and load in the new shared parameter file. This can be done here, and you can see all of the new shared parameters located under different tabs. We use DN for steel pipes and Ö for plastic pipes. Also, the material library should be loaded in again. Both the material library and the shared perimeter file is a one-time thing. Revit will save these changes when you have done it one time. Remember to do it in every version of Revit that you use, both 2023, 24, 25, 26 or 27. This was an overview of our new pipe fitting setup. Let me know if you have any question. Thank you so much for watching.